Breaking news, guys. Breaking news, man. Lil Jon's son is missing. I got the news from my girl, Reality TV, who is from Georgia.
Lil Jon's son vanished into thin air, and the internet can't stop talking about it. One quiet morning, he stepped out of his Georgia home barefoot, without a phone, and never came back. What's sending chills down everyone's spine right now is a video that just went viral, and it was posted by Lil Jon's rivals, possibly as a twisted message aimed straight at the superstar himself. On February 3rd, 2026, around 6 a.m., 27-year-old Nathan Murray Smith walked out of his house in Milton, Georgia, a peaceful, upscale suburb about 30 miles north of Atlanta. He didn't grab his phone, didn't take his wallet, didn't even wear shoes. Authorities later said he appeared to be in a confused or potentially disoriented state. No car, no note, no explanation. He simply walked out his front door, turned toward Baldwin Drive and Mayfield Road, and disappeared into the darkness without a trace. Nathan isn't just anyone. He's better known as DJ Young Slade, the son of Grammy-winning hitmaker and global icon Lil Jon.
It seems that maybe he was, I'm not gonna say, I don't know if he was under the influence of a drug or whatever, but he ran out of the house barefoot with no phone or nothing.
Within hours, the Milton Police Department released an urgent missing persons alert, spreading Nathan's photo and details all over social media and through police networks across Georgia. But one detail stood out. This wasn't a simple case of an adult leaving on his own. Police said Nathan might be disoriented and could need help. No phone meant he couldn't call anyone, and no one could reach him. He had no identification, no money, nothing to protect himself or even let people know who he was. Authorities made it clear there was no threat to the public, but urged anyone who saw him to contact the police immediately instead of trying to approach him. The story quickly hit the airwaves. Fox 5 Atlanta was one of the first to cover the alert, reporting that Nathan was last seen near Baldwin Drive. Soon after, WSB-TV broadcasted his photo and missing persons details, showing growing concern from both fans and locals. In less than 24 hours, the story exploded beyond Georgia. NBC News ran a national report, and People magazine shared the family's emotional request for privacy and prayers. The article even featured a heartwarming 2016 photo of Lil Jon and his son, reminding everyone just how close they always been. The world watched in shock. How could the son of one of music's loudest voices just vanish into silence? USA Today broke the silence with a heartbreaking update. Family representatives released a statement begging for privacy and prayers during what they described as an unimaginably difficult time. The coverage from BET captured the family's pain while highlighting police concerns that Nathan might still be in a confused or vulnerable state. But then The Hollywood Reporter dropped another bombshell, revealing that Lil Jon was estranged from his mother, Nicole Smith, adding even more emotional tension to an already gut-wrenching situation. As the story spread, social media lit up like wildfire. YouTube channels began dissecting every angle, with Boss Talk TV leading the charge. The host could barely hold back emotion while breaking the story live. Their co-host, Reality TV, shared early updates from Georgia media outlets, repeating what little was known at the time. The entire team urged their audience to spread the word, reading directly from police reports to make sure the facts stayed clear. They even quoted TMZ's coverage, which had pushed the story onto a national stage within hours. But then came a chilling twist. During Boss Talk TV's live stream, local outlet Rough Draft Atlanta reported an active police situation unfolding inside Mayfield Park, the very same area where Nathan was last seen.
News, guys. Breaking news, man. Lil Jon's son is missing. I got the news from my girl, Reality TV, who is from Georgia.
The tension was real, and the internet went into overdrive with speculation. To understand just how heavy this moment is, you have to know who Nathan Murray Smith truly is. Not just Lil Jon's son, but an artist who carved his own path in music. Born in 1998, Nathan was practically raised in the studio. Lil Jon once told stories about how Nathan would kick in rhythm while still in his mother's womb during recording sessions. His mom was a dancer. His dad was building the Crunk empire that took over Southern hip-hop. Creativity ran through his veins. As a toddler, Nathan even lent his voice to the 2001 Lil Jon and the East Side Boys track Bia Bia. Imagine that. From there, his journey only got deeper. In high school, he started producing beats, later training professionally at the Scratch DJ Academy and studying at New York University. Over the years, he built his name piece by piece: DJ, producer, engineer, and finally performer, known to fans everywhere as DJ Young Slade. Nathan's career was finally catching real fire. Everything was lining up for him. In 2024, he teamed up with his father for Lil Jon's unexpected project, Total Meditation, a wild mix of guided mindfulness and hip-hop beats that shocked everyone. Their chemistry in the studio was undeniable, and the two were also working together on Lil Jon's rumored farewell album. Then came Nathan's own spotlight moment. In March 2025, he dropped a single called Feels, which he heavily promoted on Instagram, teasing fans with behind-the-scenes clips and late-night studio shots. The buzz was real. He even popped up on MTV's Family Legacy series, sharing how watching his dad tear up a DJ set was the moment that changed everything for him. That's when he knew music was in his blood. By 2025, Nathan was performing at major festivals like One Music Fest in Atlanta, connecting with crowds who vibed with his sound. He linked up with artists like Jim Jones and stayed deeply connected to Atlanta's buzzing music scene. And to top it off, he even appeared side by side with his father on Celebrity Family Feud. Every move showed growth, purpose, and a name that was finally breaking out beyond his father's shadow.
Lil Jon is dealing with a scary situation right now. TMZ said his son DJ Young Slade has been reported missing in Georgia. The same thing, the Milton Police Department put out a missing persons alert Tuesday saying 28-year-old Slade, legal name Nathan Murray Smith, ran out of his home on foot and hasn't been seen since. And he doesn't have a phone. He may be disoriented and he could be in need of.
Nathan wasn't just chasing fame, he was building something real. He produced, recorded, and mixed his own tracks from the ground up, proving he could stand on his own name. When Boss Talk TV covered the story, the weight in the studio was undeniable. The host's voice cracked as they spoke about what it means for any parent to get that kind of devastating news. But what made it even haunting? Earlier in that same episode, before the breaking news hit, DJ Young Slade himself had appeared in a pre-recorded interview, smiling and talking about growing up as Lil Jon's son. In that clip, Nathan described his father simply as just dad, the guy who drinks tea, chills at home, and watches movies. Seeing that warm, down-to-earth moment aired right before a missing person alert from Milton Police hit social media hours later, it stopped everyone cold. This wasn't just another celebrity headline. This was a real family living through heartbreak in real time. By February 5th, 2026, no one had seen or heard from Nathan. Authorities continued searching every inch of nearby areas, including Mayfield Lake, but there were still no confirmed leads. Lil Jon kept his silence, speaking only through the family's earlier request for prayers and privacy. That silence hit harder than words ever could, and Boss Talk TV's host captured it perfectly. The host spoke raw truth, the kind of fear only a parent could understand. The nightmare of knowing your child is out there somewhere, unreachable, and there's absolutely nothing you can do. Reality TV, the co-host, added another powerful perspective, reminding everyone that this moment wasn't just about fame or status. It was about a son, a father, and a plea for compassion that should go beyond one family's name. Then the conversation shifted to something darker. Old beefs, long-standing rivalries, and names from the past began surfacing online. The title of the episode even referenced Lil Jon's ops, a term in hip-hop meaning enemies or rivals. While police made it clear there's zero evidence linking any of these past conflicts to Nathan's disappearance, the mention of Lil Jon's old feuds reignited questions the internet couldn't ignore. After combing through countless reports, interviews, and social media threads, one thing is crystal clear. There's no record of DJ Young Slade ever having beef with anyone. No feuds, no rivalries, no past drama tied to his name. Authorities are treating this case not as a criminal situation, but as a welfare and mental health concern. Still, the unease deepens when people see that chilling footage, Nathan's calm interview about his dad now circulating side by side with missing person alerts. It hits completely differently now. To really grasp the tension around this story, you have to understand the world Lil Jon came from. A music scene where rivalries can linger for years, sometimes even spill across generations. Jonathan Smith, better known as Lil Jon, came out of Atlanta's late 1990s and early 2000s crunk explosion as one of its loudest, most unstoppable voices. With Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, he created anthems that changed the sound of an era. Get Low, Bia Bia, and Throw It Up weren't just songs, they were cultural earthquakes. His signature ad-libs, yeah, okay, what, became instantly recognizable worldwide, even parodied by Dave Chappelle and quoted in clubs for decades. Then came another massive chapter.
But not just Lil Jon missing person, but
All of
all
them.
the missing people, because I know that he's a celebrity and they get, a bigger publicity and all that, but prayers for everybody that's looking for a missing.
He teamed up with DJ Snake for the global hit Turned Down for What and snagged a Grammy while jumping effortlessly between genres from EDM to country. Few artists have stayed relevant that long, and that's exactly what made Lil Jon such a powerhouse. But that kind of long-term dominance in Atlanta's gritty, competitive Southern rap scene didn't come without heat. Over the years, tensions brewed, the biggest of them all being his rivalry with Pastor Troy, real name Micah LeVar Troy. Pastor Troy, an Atlanta legend himself, built a die-hard fan base with his raw, independent Southern sound. Ironically, they even worked together on Throw It Up, a track off of Lil Jon and the East Side Boys' 2002 album Kings of Crunk. What started as collaboration would later mark one of the most talked-about feuds in Atlanta hip-hop history. Throw It Up turned out to be a career-defining moment for Pastor Troy, the track that blasted him from the Atlanta underground straight into the national spotlight. It was pure crunk chaos, an anthem that had clubs shaking and crowds chanting his name. But behind the scenes, what looked like a win for both artists quietly sowed bitterness that would linger for years. In interviews, especially his 2021 sit-down with Vlad TV, Pastor Troy didn't hold back. He opened up about how frustrated he was with the way the collaboration ended up playing out. There was never an official music video for Throw It Up, something Troy blamed squarely on label politics. That decision, according to him, killed the momentum the song could have had and robbed it of the full spotlight it deserved. After that, there were no more collaborations between him and Lil Jon. The connection just vanished. Pastor Troy later admitted he felt iced out from Lil Jon's growing empire, saying he was never called back for future projects and was denied the platform that the success of Throw It Up should have guaranteed. What started as a major breakthrough ended up leaving deep frustration and tension that never fully faded.
Situation when you sitting there trying to figure, you don't know. He didn't take his phone. He might have had on shoes, might have didn't have on shoes. He don't have no personal items. That's the weirdest thing right there. Because now you got me worried. Now I'm worried about you because I don't know what the hell going on. What happened to my damn son is what I'm asking at that point. So, I just pray for Lil Jon and I pray for the mother of the boy too, because she going through it. It ain't just Lil Jon because he got a name. It's family, brothers and sisters, everybody's on high alert when somebody misses.
Pastor Troy once claimed that Lil Jon had even asked him for a verse, but that moment never turned into real respect or new chances to work together. In a 2022 Revolt TV interview, Troy looked back on those frustrations, calling it one of the most disappointing chapters of his career. The tension didn't just fade away, it exploded. By 2006, Pastor Troy was done staying quiet. He dropped Murder Man, a blistering diss track from his album By Choice about force, and it was aimed straight at Lil Jon and his entire BME, Black Market Entertainment crew, even naming Lil Scrappy and Crime Mob. The lyrics were vicious, packed with anger and years of pent-up resentment. Troy used the track to unload everything he felt, being shut out, overlooked, and disrespected by someone he'd once collaborated with. The song made its rounds through Atlanta's underground and southern rap circles, but it never got the response Troy was clearly hoping for. Lil Jon didn't bite. No clapback, no diss record, not even a public comment. That silence spoke volumes. While Troy kept venting through his music, Lil Jon stayed focused, stacking hits and expanding his reach far beyond local beefs. But Pastor Troy wasn't the only person who had issues with Lil Jon over the years. Behind the wild beats and club anthems, there were cracks forming in some of his biggest musical relationships. Take the Yin Yang Twins, for example, the same duo who helped deliver massive crunk bangers like Get Low and Salt Shaker. What seemed like a dream partnership later soured over creative control, credit disputes, and money. In several podcast interviews, the Yin Yang Twins opened up about their frustrations, saying Lil Jon didn't even like Get Low at first and pushed back on some of their creative choices. But when the track blew up and started making serious money, they felt left out of the full rewards, undervalued and boxed in by business politics. It wasn't full-on beef, but the tension was definitely there, and the receipts were all over their interviews. Even Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, the crew that launched them into superstardom, couldn't escape internal chaos. After their 2004 album, Crunk Juice, everything fell apart. Money problems, legal disputes, and behind-the-scenes drama tore the group apart, clearing the way for Lil Jon to go solo while his former bandmates faded into the background. And just when it seemed like the dust had settled, them Franchise Boys came out with their own claims. They accused Lil Jon of heavily borrowing from their Snap music sound during Atlanta's shift from crunk to Snap, adding yet another layer of rivalry and competitive heat to the city's ever-evolving hip-hop scene. Even more layers of tension surrounded Lil Jon's world, including drama with his own artist, Lil Scrappy. Scrappy was signed to Lil Jon's BME label, but behind the scenes, there were whispers of pressure from 50 Cent himself, reportedly urging Lil Jon to distance from Scrappy. Eventually, Scrappy left the label altogether, leaving fans speculating about what really went down. Still, through all the chaos and side-eye in the industry, Lil Jon never let himself get dragged into the mud. His approach was consistent, almost stoic. He never wasted time firing back through diss records or long public rants. Instead, he held his ground as a legacy figure, the man who built Crunk from the ground up and chose to evolve instead of crumble. Over the past few years, that evolution became deeply personal. Between 2024 and 2025, Lil Jon shocked everyone by opening up about his own struggles, not just as an artist, but as a man trying to heal. He admitted to years of heavy drinking, directly tied to the wild crunk lifestyle that made him famous. But when serious health scares hit, including liver complications around age 50, it forced him to stop and change everything. He didn't just talk about getting better, he did it. He started EMDR therapy, embraced meditation, and pushed himself through a strict fitness routine that eventually led him to competing at the 2025 Muscle Beach Championship. Fans couldn't believe the transformation. The king of crunk was now a champion of self-care. Lil Jon often credited his turnaround to his family, especially his newborn daughter, born in 2024, and his oldest son, Nathan. He said he wanted to be there, to truly show up for him. In interviews, he spoke about breaking a lifelong cycle of suffering in silence, something he recognized as a heavy burden for many men. That vulnerability made him a new kind of role model, still larger than life, but finally real. That's what makes this current tragedy so heartbreaking. After years of working on himself, staying healthy, and putting family first, now Lil Jon faces the unthinkable, his 27-year-old son vanishing without a trace. The pain hits deeper because this is a man who's rebuilt his life around love and redemption, only to have it shaken to the core. His past marriage to Nicole Smith, Nathan's mother, ended in estrangement, a fracture that already made family life complicated. But by all accounts, Lil Jon and Nathan had rebuilt a strong, genuine bond. They worked together on music, appeared on TV shows, and Nathan often spoke about his dad with warmth, calling him the tea-drinking, movie-watching dad behind the hype man persona everyone else knew. On Boss Talk TV, the host summed it up perfectly. The agony of a father who's seen it all, conquered the world, changed his life for his family, and is now living a nightmare no parent should ever face.
It's impossible to imagine the pain of staying strong when your child goes missing. Nathan, a rising DJ and producer, still far from his father's level of fame, was never involved in drama. No beefs, no rivalries, no scandals. His Instagram showed only music, family moments, and career updates full of hope. But in hip-hop, carrying a famous last name can come with invisible baggage. Sometimes a parent's enemies become their child's shadow. That's what makes the footage of Nathan talking warmly about his dad so unsettling now. In light of his disappearance, it hits different, especially in a culture where the children of rap icons too often become collateral in battles they never started. Police still say this is a welfare and mental health case, not a criminal one, and Nathan has no known enemies. Yet the internet has twisted the story, linking his name to words like ops, a chilling reflection of how people now expect tragedy whenever a rapper's family hits the headlines. This mindset didn't come from nowhere. The hip-hop world has seen real, heartbreaking patterns, like in 2025, when the long-running feud between Nicki Minaj and Cardi B spiraled so far out of control that both started taking aim at each other's children. The feud between Nicki Minaj and Cardi B took a disturbing turn when both rappers crossed the line, attacking each other's children. Nicki allegedly posted cruel insults about her daughter, calling her ugly, culture vulture, and even threatening violence, and extended those taunts to a younger child, Blossom. Cardi fired back just as harshly, mocking Nicki's son, Papa Bear, calling him slow and blaming it on drug use during pregnancy, even making dark jokes about his birthday. Both later issued weak apologies, but the damage was done. Fans and the industry alike condemned them for dragging innocent kids into their fight. That wasn't the first or last time family was used as a weapon in hip-hop beefs. In 2024, the Drake versus Kendrick Lamar feud reached a brutal level of personal attacks. Drake's track Family Matters accused Kendrick's fiancée Whitney Alford of abuse and claimed their child was secretly fathered by Kendrick's close collaborator Dave Free. Kendrick clapped back with Meet the Glams, directly addressing Drake's own son Adonis, saying, "I'm sorry, that man is your father," and even alleging Drake had a hidden daughter. Drake denied it, but the world was already watching. Children had once again been weaponized for humiliation. It echoed back to 2018 when Pusha T's track The Story of a Dime exposed Drake's secret son to the world, using the ultimate personal blow to win a rap war. Pusha T's The Story of a Dime didn't just win a rap battle, it changed hip-hop history. The song publicly exposed Drake's secret son, Adonis, using a child's identity as ammunition in a beef. That one track forced Drake to acknowledge his son for the first time, turning a deeply private family truth into a viral humiliation. It became the blueprint for how far rappers would later go, a line that Kendrick Lamar would echo years later in his own feud with Drake. But long before that, Eminem had already drawn the original line in the sand about family and watched others cross it anyway. In 2003, Ja Rule's track Loose Change targeted Eminem's daughter, Haley Jade, with disturbing lyrics about her future. Eminem's clapbacks, Haley's revenge, and Go to Sleep destroyed Ja Rule's credibility and marked the end of his prime. Then came Machine Gun Kelly, who back in 2012 made an inappropriate comment online calling teenage Haley attractive. That line sat like a mine until 2018, when MGK dropped Rap Devil and Eminem fired back with Kill Shot, ending that battle fast. Even Everlast from House of Pain once dissed Haley, and Eminem's response track, Quitter, basically erased him from rap altogether. The message was obvious. Mention Eminem's daughter and your career might not survive. But beneath that pattern was a darker truth. Rivals kept crossing the line anyway, proving that in rap warfare, even children had become fair game. And when that mindset spilled off the mic, the consequences turned deadly. In Jacksonville, Florida, the ATK versus KTA rivalry between rappers like Youngeen Ace and the late Julio Fulio led to brutal shootings where family members, not just artists, were caught in the crossfire. These weren't just rap beefs anymore. They blurred into real-life street wars where anyone close to the music became a target. The same horror played out in Stockton, California, where even children's birthday parties were hit during ongoing feuds, innocent kids paying the price for their parents' conflicts. This is the environment that makes the footage of Nathan Murray Smith, DJ Young Slade, feel so unsettling. There's no evidence of foul play, no sign of a rivalry, and police continue to treat his case purely as a welfare and mental health concern. But the world can't help but see it through a darker lens, because hip-hop culture has conditioned us to fear the worst when a rapper's child goes missing. That simple, loving clip of Nathan calling his dad just dad now feels haunting, not because of what it shows, but because of what the world has come to expect. And that's the heartbreaking truth. This story isn't just about one missing young man. It's about a culture that's become so used to tragedy that even love looks suspicious on camera. The internet doesn't wait for facts anymore. It builds narratives out of fear, out of trauma, out of the ghost left behind by other hip-hop families who didn't get a happy ending. As the days go by, fans keep refreshing their feeds, desperate for any update on Nathan Murray Smith. Has he been found? Did someone see him? The hashtags keep trending. Hashtag find DJ Young Slade. Hashtag pray for Lil Jon. But so far, nothing concrete has surfaced. Search teams continue to comb through Milton's wooded trails and quiet neighborhoods, clinging to hope that this story will end differently. Meanwhile, Lil Jon remains silent. Not the loud, party-starting voice the world knows, but a father trapped in a quiet that feels heavier than any bass drop. His friends and collaborators have stepped forward, asking fans to stop speculating and focus on sending positive energy instead of conspiracies. Because for once, this isn't about fame, beef, or music. It's about a family in crisis, a young man who stepped outside one February morning and vanished, a father begging for his child's safe return. The real story isn't the noise online, it's the silence in that home. If you want to support the family, keep Nathan's name alive, and help spread awareness, subscribe, like, and share this video. Let's use our voices for something real, compassion, not chaos.